And here we go. All right, so yesterday I touched base on a subject that I thought was very interesting, and that was all about overwhelm and kind of like pivoting from overwhelm to solutions because a lot of people have a very hard time dealing with that kind of stuff. And I don't know, like when you get overwhelmed, it's like you're surrounded by a circle of fire, right? And you look all around you and it's like there's no way to get out, right? But there always is. But the way out is not from overwhelm. The way out is from pivoting from overwhelm, right? And looking immediately for solutions. So here's what I wanted to talk about. And I actually just made a podcast episode about this today for this week's podcast episode. And this is something that I'm excited as heck to talk about with my partner. Because you kind of gain a lot of insight from these things, and it helps you to see other things in even more beneficial, expanded views. So here's the thing when it comes to overwhelm, right? Overwhelm, another word for it, stress, right? I'm overwhelmed, I'm stressed, whatever it is. First and foremost, that kind of comes from like childhood trauma. You might actually be seeking out stress and overwhelm, right? You might be seeking out chaos. Now, if this is something that you want to get away from, I don't understand why anybody wouldn't want to get away from this. You have to understand that answers are not going to come in overwhelm. However, the only answer that could potentially come from, I guess I shouldn't really say that. The only beneficial answer that could come from overwhelm is insight in regards to, oh wow, okay, overwhelm was not necessary. That's about it. But here's the issue here. Overwhelm is stress, right? And so when you're looking at it from the standpoint of the known, right? Because everything in that universe is survival, right? It's coming from the place of known, the place of everything that you've ever known to be, your realm of your experience of life. And that's how this stuff works, because it is rooted in that. It's originated in that. Once you kind of like transform how you approach things, and instead of coming from a place of known, you come from a place of presence, right? So here's a great way to look at this, right? If you ever get overwhelmed, the way that you could approach this is, okay, I recognize that I'm overwhelmed. That means something needs to happen, so I need to seek solutions. The first solution that I would recommend is trying to sit down and just be present with your breath. Because the more present you can get, the better off you'll be. That's just the way that it is. No beneficial answers other than, okay, overwhelm is not necessary, so let's sit and breathe. I don't think there are any other answers that are going to be beneficial. Because everything else is going to be from a place of survival, from what I understand. Other than that, like, it's interesting. Like, when I look at that kind of stuff, when I look at survival, when I look at people in survival, people that are facing overwhelm, facing stress, this, that, and the other, the amount of times that they've been in that very situation, this is not new to them. They weren't fucking born yesterday. They've been there a million times before. They might not realize it. They might not want to admit that, but they have. And the thing that's going to get them through that is to get present. Get present with the breath, right? Because overwhelm is just like a default pivot to, like, okay, there's a lot of fucking things happening at once. Run. Like, no, you don't need to run. What you need to do is sit down, breathe, be present with your breath, and there you will find solutions. That's just the way that it is. It's very simple. And a lot of people are just running around, like I was saying yesterday, a lot of people are just running around like a chicken with their head cut off. Seek the present moment. If you are overwhelmed, seek the present moment. If you are stressed, seek the present moment. If you are depressed, seek the present moment. You know, you can't. I don't know who was it, Einstein or someone. He said you can't fix a problem with the same level of thinking that created it. You can't. So more of overwhelm is not going to help your already present overwhelm. It's just not. But sitting down and being present with the breath and, consciously in the present moment, exploring potentials as to how, like, think about it, the thing that's so interesting to me about like this whole like overwhelm thing is that one, it's fucking using you because it is, and you've experienced it more than once. There's a good chance that you've experienced it several times in repeated cycles, in patterns. Overwhelm does not do shit for you. It just tells you that something is there that needs to be taken care of. And, as that is, it's trying to provide you with, I don't know, an understanding that that something needs to be different, that something needs to be changed. And when you can recognize that, and instead of running around like a chicken with your fucking head cut off all over the place, when you can recognize that all you need to do is just be present and look for solutions, that breaks the pattern of everything that started the bullshit. You don't need overwhelm. What you need is solutions. What you need is to act presently with solutions. And the second you start to feel overwhelmed, pivot, right? Spend as little time. Okay, this is all you need to know in regards to overwhelm. Overwhelm is there to show you that, I guess, something's wrong, or that there's an issue, or that too many things are happening at once, right? Okay, I'm overwhelmed. Solutions. What do I do? What's available to me? Okay, first and foremost, I can breathe, all right? I can breathe. I've got a nose, there's oxygen here, I can breathe, That's all. And then go from there, solutions, pivot, solutions, pivot, yeah, that's it. That's it. Things don't need to get crazy. You don't need to end up making terrible decisions. There's a good chance that there's solutions at your fingertips, and all you need to do is go for them. That's it. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have a conversation with my partner on behalf of this, because it's exciting to like look at this now, because like even myself included, I have found myself kind of like getting caught up in overwhelm, and it's like, okay, well, there are solutions. All right, well, what are those solutions? And then just go from there. Just go from there. That's all that it is. There are always solutions. There always will be solutions.